We're going to be taking a look at this conversation between Paul Daniels, an innovation expert, and Alex Smazhuk, who is, all about marketing.
Yeah,
You sent this in, so I'm guessing you're interested in learning how to shake things up and think differently to find success,
for sure.
even if you don't think of yourself as a creative type.
You got it. And
Mhm.
from what you shared, it seems like those aha moments, those unexpected insights, are what really get you going.
Well, get ready for some ahas,
Mm-hmm.
because Daniels kicks things off with a story about how he was diagnosed with dyslexia at 40.
Oh, wow.
Now, he could have seen that as a setback, but instead, he dives into research.
Interesting.
What'd he find?
What he found is really fascinating.
Yeah.
Daniels uncovered a strong connection between dyslexia and innovative thinking. And it's not just a few anecdotes either.
Right.
He points out that while dyslexia occurs in roughly 10–15% of the population,
Okay.
it's present in a much higher percentage of entrepreneurs and self-made millionaires. We're talking 20, 30%, and nearly 40% respectively.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
It is.
And here's the kicker. Even NASA actively seeks out individuals with dyslexia.
I did not know that.
It really challenges the traditional view of what a successful thinker should be.
Right, absolutely. Daniel's research suggests that thinking differently can be a major advantage, not a weakness. The same brain wiring that makes reading a challenge for some might actually enable those individuals to spot patterns and connections that others miss.
Interesting.
And that's crucial for innovation.
Yeah.
So think about it. Your unique way of thinking could be your secret weapon in the business world.
I like that. Okay, so this next part is where it gets really intriguing.
Okay.
Daniels introduces this idea of peripheral thinking.
Peripheral thinking.
He argues that inspiration is everywhere, even in those everyday moments we often overlook.
Yeah.
He actually uses the example of finding business insights at a football game.
At a football game.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
It sounds strange at first, but think about it. You've got strategy from the coaches, passionate engagement from the fans, maybe even a lesson in teamwork and resilience when a team makes a comeback.
Right.
Peripheral thinking is about training yourself to see connections between those seemingly unrelated things
Yeah.
to extract valuable lessons from anything and everything.
It's almost like a mental exercise,
Yeah.
turning your brain into this constant inspiration machine.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what we're all missing by not looking at things through that lens.
Exactly. Now, Daniels and Smazhuk also touch on a big one, fear.
Fear.
Daniels has this great quote. He
Yeah.
says, "Fear is a liar. Fear is not part of the business."
I love that. He emphasizes that fear, like any emotion, is real, but that doesn't mean it's always giving us good information.
Yeah.
Right? We've all felt that paralysis that fear can bring,
For sure.
that hesitation to take a risk, even when it could lead to amazing things.
Absolutely.
So how do we get past that?
Well, he has a really practical approach to dealing with fear. When facing a business decision that makes you afraid, Daniel suggests asking yourself two questions.
Sure.
What evidence is there that this fear is real? And what evidence is there that it's not true?
It's about challenging those assumptions,
Yeah.
really examining if the fear is justified or if it's unnecessarily holding you back.
Right.
That reminds me of a time when I was terrified to pitch a new idea,
Oh, yeah.
convinced it would be a total flop.
Oh, no.
But when I actually looked at the evidence, I realized I had a lot of data to back up my concept. It was the fear talking, not the facts.
Wow.
Taking that step, even though I was scared, turned out to be a major turning point in my career.
That's such a great example of how confronting those fears head-on can lead to breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And this actually connects directly to the idea of embracing failure.
Okay.
Daniels loves failure because it provides new insight.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
He actually argues that if we only see failure as personal defeat, we miss out on those valuable lessons that can help us grow and get better.
Totally.
Right.
Right. He has a point. It's about reframing failure as a stepping stone, not a roadblock.
So true. Now, switching gears a bit, Smazhuk brings up something really important. Personal branding.
Okay.
He stresses that in a world increasingly dominated by AI, your personal brand is more crucial than ever.
It makes sense.
And Daniels has this really compelling point.
Yeah.
If Coca-Cola is hiring social media influencers,
Right.
why aren't you focusing on building your own personal brand?
That's a good point.
Especially in a field where expertise and reputation are everything.
Definitely.
It really makes you think about how we present ourselves, right? Especially online.
It's huge. Yeah.
So we've seen how different thinking styles can be an advantage.
Uh-huh.
And we've started to explore how we can actively cultivate that ability to see the world from new angles.
Right.
I think we're ready to dive into some more specific strategies for putting these ideas into action.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Absolutely. Let's get tactical. Absolutely. Let's get tactical. It's interesting. Daniels actually challenges the whole concept of work-life balance.
Oh, really?
He believes it's all just life one integrated whole.
Okay.
So why try to compartmentalize these different aspects of ourselves?
It's a really refreshing perspective. He's basically saying, bring your whole self to the table, right?
Mhm.
Let your authentic personality shine through in every aspect of your brand.
And that ties back into peripheral thinking.
Right.
By embracing all our experiences, we bring a richer, more multifaceted perspective to our work.
I see.
Those seemingly unrelated hobbies or passions could hold the key to unlocking new insights and approaches in your professional life.
You know what? That reminds me of the time,
Yeah.
like Daniel's using his experience coaching a kid's soccer team to illustrate a point about leadership.
Oh, wow.
Who would have thought?
Right. It's about making those unexpected connections and recognizing the hidden value in everything you do. Speaking of unexpected, remember how we talked about Smazhuk being a big advocate for video content?
Yeah. Well, Daniels actually puts this into practice during the conversation.
Does he really?
He spontaneously films a 25-second video just off the cuff to show how simple and effective it can be.
Interesting. What do you think about that?
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What struck me about that example was that he didn't try to make it perfect.
Right.
He stumbles a bit, laughs it off,
Uh-huh.
and that actually makes it more engaging and authentic.
It's a good reminder that we don't have to be perfect to create compelling content.
Sometimes those
Paraphrase.
imperfections make us more relatable and human. That's where experimentation comes in.
Yeah.
Both Daniels and Smazhuk encourage listeners to try different video formats, see what works for their audience,
Makes sense.
and not be afraid to put themselves out there. They even suggest using LinkedIn Live as a platform to connect with potential clients in a more personal and interactive way.
So it's all about getting yourself out there in as many ways as possible.
That seems to be the message.
Okay, so now we're talking about getting ourselves out there. How do we know if it's working? Ugh, the age-old question. How do we measure effectiveness?
Right?
Well, Daniels is all about the data. He tracks everything.
Like what?
Website traffic, social media engagement, even how people are finding him online.
So that's crucial for anyone building a personal brand.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to understand what's working, what's not, and be willing to adapt your strategy.
Yeah,
It's about being data-driven and constantly refining your approach.
that makes a lot of sense. You know, it's interesting how Daniels circles back to his experience with dyslexia.
Oh, yeah.
He observes that this different way of thinking has been a huge asset in his business.
In what way?
Well, he talks about being naturally drawn to seeing things from multiple perspectives, thinking outside the box, and connecting seemingly unrelated ideas. These are all highly valuable qualities in a world that's constantly changing and demanding innovative solutions.
It makes you wonder if we sometimes underestimate the power of those different ways of thinking. We've been conditioned to think there's one right way to do things, but maybe that limits our potential.
Absolutely. It's definitely something to consider. And it ties back to Daniels' idea that everything you already have, everything that you need to achieve anything you can imagine already exists. You already have access to it. You just need to know where to look for it.
That's powerful. He's saying that we already have everything we need within us.
Exactly. It's just a matter of tapping into that potential and learning to see things with fresh eyes.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, there's one final point I want to highlight that both Daniels and Smazhuk emphasize.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that success in today's world requires a shift in mindset.
Yep.
It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart.
Yeah.
Being adaptable, open to new ideas, and willing to embrace a more unconventional approach.
And that unconventional approach might be exactly what you need to stand out in a crowded marketplace.
For sure.
It's been a great discussion so far. We've covered a lot of ground.
Oh.
But I think there's still more to unpack, don't you?
Yeah.
You're right. There's still a lot to explore here. It seems like you're especially interested in how this unconventional thinking can be applied to personal branding. And I think that's where Daniels and Smazhuk offer some really valuable insights.
Okay.
They both seem to agree that personal branding isn't just about self-promotion.
Right.
It's about showcasing your expertise,
Yeah.
building genuine relationships, and ultimately attracting the right clients or opportunities.
They make sense.
And they stress that it's not about creating some fake persona either.
Right.
It's about letting your true self shine through.
Yeah.
Highlighting those unique qualities that make you, you.
Be authentic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is where that peripheral thinking comes back into play.
Okay.
By cultivating a diverse range of interests and experiences, you're essentially expanding your mental toolkit.
Makes sense.
You're giving yourself more resources to draw from when faced with challenges.
Right.
And you're more likely to spot those connections that others might miss.
Yeah.
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
I like that.
Daniels actually uses a great analogy.
Oh, yeah?
He says, think of it like this. You're building a house. If you only have one type of tool, a hammer, you can only build so much. But if you have a saw, a drill, a level, you can create something much more complex and interesting.
It's about having the right tools for the job.
Right.
And those tools come from a variety of experiences, not just your professional life.
This has been really eye-opening. And it makes me wonder, what seemingly unrelated experience have you had recently? That might hold a surprising business insight if you look at it through a new lens.
That's a great question.
Maybe it's a hobby, a travel experience, a conversation with a friend. Anything that sparked your curiosity or made you think differently?
Don't dismiss those seemingly random experiences. They might just hold the key to unlocking your next big breakthrough. Remember, Daniel's philosophy is all about finding those hidden connections and seeing possibilities where others see only limitations.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from the power of thinking differently to the importance of embracing failure and building an authentic personal brand.
It's been great.
I hope this conversation has given you some fresh perspectives and actionable insights to apply in your own journey. And who knows, maybe it's even sparked some new ideas of your own.
The most important takeaway here is that you have the power to achieve success. Embrace your unique way of thinking, find inspiration in everything you do, and never be afraid to challenge the status quo.
That's it for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Давайте